sorry everybody, we lost internet connection there. We are out in the middle of the Pacific on an island, so internet can be kind of spotty. I'd like to kind of go over, what all of the project entails, and I'll get an interview with our brother here and some more shots of the turtles, and then we'll be doing some drone footage of the release, and then I'm gonna put on my snorkel gear, and hopefully we can kind of walk them out to the ocean and send them on their way. So here, if you'd like to kind of talk about the program in general, I'll get that, and then we can go on to the fun stuff too.
Okay, Bula, again, my name is Wase. I'm the environment officer here. So just a few things for you to know about the Head Start program. So basically, the program we run here is called the Head Start program. So what we do is we do head starting. And here on Treasure Island, we're so lucky that it's a natural nesting site for the hawksbill turtle. So what we do is when we identify a nest, which is during nesting season, which is from October to May, we close it off, monitor it for about 60 to 65 days. And according to the species we have in our turtle ponds, we release some, keep the rest, or we just release them all. Because we don't want them all congested in a pool. And we also looking after their health here. So basically what we do is we try and look after them, feed them with different things. Pieces of fish, we also put in live bait fish. If we find jellyfish, we throw it in. They really love jellyfish. And as you can see in the turtle pond, we have a few seaweed, sargassum seaweed. We throw it in so they can feed on it. And also in the front turtle pond, we have green algae growing. Now green algae helps with their foraging behavior. So they feed on green algae. When we release them, they know what to do when they get back into the wild. So basically, why do we do this? Firstly, they're the second most critically endangered turtle species in the world.
So you said the second most endangered species in the world.
Critically endangered turtle species in the world. Yeah. They're listed as critically endangered under the IUCN Red List. Now, statistically speaking, we take their numbers according to the number of nesters, that is the mothers that come up to nest around the world. Since they're solitary, you can't see them around a lot. Maybe you'll just see them pop up their head every now and then and go back down. But the number we take to know the number of individual population is the number of nesters, the mothers. So right now around the world, recorded 8,000 mothers. Recorded 8,000 number of nesters around the world. So that's low for the entire world.
Yeah, for any species, that's low.
Yeah, that's low. Yeah. Basically, and also right now here in the Pacific, they're also part of our culture and tradition. People have been eating them for the past 100 years. Yeah. So it's basically just trying to get the awareness out there that they are critically endangered. Please do not poach them for their meat and eggs, and they're also protected by law. But as you know, there are a lot of islands around the Pacific, so it's quite hard to monitor everyone. Yeah. So we're just literally trying to spread awareness. And as you well know, climate change is a hot topic nowadays. Yeah. So basically, it affects them with the temperature of the nest. As you know, they are reptiles, and the gender of the turtle is determined by the temperature of the nest. Yeah? So if there's hotter than usual, we'll have more females. If it's colder than usual, we'll have more males. So we've been finding that since the rise in temperature has been producing more females, and we all know what will happen to the breeding system if you have too many males or too many females. And plus, they take so long to mature, 25 to 35 years. Basically why the Head Start program was put in place. We look after them until they get to a certain size where they can fend for themselves, and we release them, just to increase the chances of survival. Because when they go out naturally, they're about the size of your thumb when they hatch. So 1 in every 1,000 survive to reach adulthood and start breeding. So it's basically all we do here.
So I mean, if you take those numbers into consideration, right?
Yeah.
There's 8,000 in the world. One out of every 1,000,
Yeah.
right? Makes it. That means that only 8 of these are going to make it back if we
Yes.
don't
If we
do
don't-
something to help.
Yeah, and like you said, Terrence, it's not really ideal, but it's necessary. Yeah. So we try and make the environment as natural as possible. We throw in a bit of seaweed, live bait fish for them to chase around the fish. Some rocks, because basically that's how they avoid the predators. They hide under the rocks. Over here you see most of them just hiding under rocks or hanging around the rocks. And also in the front we have that seaweed and algae growing. Yeah? So it's basically just to make sure that the natural instincts are still intact when we release them. Yeah?
Because those are the things that are going to mean whether they survive or not. If you
Yes.
can find food, if you
Basically,
can
if you
hide
can find food.
from your enemies, then you'll do well.
Right now they're still babies. So from this time until 5 years from now, until they reach a juvenile stage in their life, they'll be spending most of their life around the coral reefs and the lagoons. So they'll be doing a lot of foraging around there. So if we're going to keep them, basically we'll try and teach them how to survive out there by providing the food that is present out there in here. Yeah? So they can start eating, and the fish, they can also chase them around. Yeah? So when they go out there, they see fish, they don't get scared.
Yeah, definitely the first time if it's the first time you've ever seen a fish.
Yes.
But this allows them to get big enough and strong enough, and with the right skills, to be able to survive, which is what's important. Like we were saying before, only 1 out of every 1,000 makes it back to nesting, makes it to maturity, makes it 30 years. And you know, if there's only 8,000 in the world, that means we're only getting 8 back to be able to come and nest, and we have to get those numbers as big as possible.
Yes.
You know, on the islands here, there is a little bit of cultural significance in that people do eat turtles for special occasions, for birthdays, for births, and all of that. And it's been something that they've always been able to do. And now, especially when you come in and you say, hey, you know, you can't eat the turtles, people want to know why. And the answer is, we want our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren to be able to enjoy these sea turtles. And because of that, we have to make the sacrifice. You know, you can't eat it this generation, but the reason that you can't eat it is so that your great-grandchildren can enjoy it. You know, and that's important. For most of the things that we're doing, it's so that our children can enjoy it, so that our grandchildren, and even farther than that, you know, we want our oceans to be healthy. We wanted people to be able to enjoy sea turtles, swim with sea turtles, see them in the wild. These are things we want future generations to be able to experience, and to make that happen, we need programs like this.
They also have a role to play out there in the coral reefs. So basically they feed on sponges too. Now sponges, when sponges grow, they could literally outcompete hard corals. Now you need hard corals because it's reef building, yeah, and houses a lot of marine life. So they basically feed on the sponges and keep their population to a certain level where hard corals can also grow and exist. And also they feed on algae, as I was telling you, forage for algae. They feed on algae. Algae, if it grows so much in the corals, they can also kill the coral reefs. So they have a role to play. Yeah? We're not only looking at them from a next generation point of view, where they can enjoy it, but we're also looking at their importance and what role they play in the marine ecosystem.
The balance that needs to be kept, and they're part of that balance. So what he's saying is some of the more harmful species, like the sponges and all of that can sometimes outgrow the hard coral that we need. And hard coral is like the bedrock of our oceans. Everything lives in the hard corals. It connects things to the rocks. All the animals are around them. We need them. And when we don't have the animals that are supposed to be doing their job, right, taking care of the sponges and some of the other invasive species, then we get that imbalance. And you have places where the corals have been wiped out by other species because, well, we've killed off all the turtles or we've killed off all of the sharks. And there's nothing there to play its place to keep the oceans balanced the way that they're meant to be, right? Mother Earth had a good plan. She had it balanced just the way that she wanted it to be. We shouldn't mess with that. So if you were going to say, you know, the number one thing to do to help projects like this, to help bring our oceans back to the way that they should be, what would that thing be? You know, if you said, you know, there's people out there that want to help, that want to be involved, you know, what would you suggest that the best thing that they can do to help would be?
Well, it comes down basically to protecting their habitat, nesting habitat. So right now around the western side here, we have a lot of beach development. So here on Treasure Island, we make sure we don't disturb the beaches because it's a natural nesting site. So a lot of development around here, around the islands here. What we can do is we just let them know that there's about 16 to 30 nesting sites around this group of islands that needs to be protected. They need to reach that stage where they can hatch, because we have a lot of nesters that are coming up to nest, but when they come up, you don't have any place to lay the eggs. What do they do? And they are well known to return to the same nesting site they hatched from. So that's a very important part to play. And also, if you're dealing with marine life, you're also dealing with turtles, you're dealing with a lot of plastics too. Right now we have a lot of problem around the world that plastic pollution is taking over. So if we try and spread the awareness, just control plastic waste. Because if you see, there's a lot of plastics in the marine ecosystem, not only affecting turtles but also marine life as a whole. So what we can do is protect nesting sites, pollution of the sea, and we could tackle this problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's our number one goal for coming here, was fighting ocean plastic.
Yes.
And if you guys haven't seen from any of my other live streams, so if you see, they're all hanging out in the seaweed here. And what happens is the plastic gets caught up in that seaweed, and then they can't tell the difference between the plastic and their food. So the animals end up ingesting all of this plastic, which eventually makes them sick. The difference is we can we can collect up plastic, we can turn it into things that we need, we can get it out of our oceans, especially here on the islands, and give these animals the chance that they need, the leg up. You've already got things trying to eat you.
Yeah.
You know, you've already got a lot of things stacked against you. Ocean plastic shouldn't be one of them.
Yes.
You know, and we do have the ability to make a change in that. We do have an ability to take the plastic that's been just dumped wildly into the ocean and use it to build our schools, to build, these roof panels. If you look up here, all of that can be made out of ocean plastic. So once we start looking at it as a resource and not as a problem, it can change a lot of things. You know, where people want to get the plastic out to be able to build with, to be able to, to make the world that we need. We need plastics. Let's get some of the plastic out of the environment already. It's already here. We can use it. And at the same note, we give things like turtles the chance that they absolutely need. So we are going to go and do the release here, and I'm going to try to get some drone footage of that and some underwater footage if I can get it all together in one spot. Thank you very much for talking with us, and then we will see you
anytime.
Oh, well, I think you're going to give the whole speech again,
Yeah.
on the beach. I'll try to get a little bit more footage here with the turtles in the water, and then I'll sign off. Hopefully you guys can catch the rest of the day here. I know we're a couple of hours ahead of you, a day ahead of you, I think by 12 hours, so it's still nice and sunny here. It's something we can all get behind. Ocean conservation affects every one of us. If the oceans die, there is no more human race, right? That's it. But unlike a lot of things in the world, number one, a lot of this is our fault. We got nobody else to blame, you know. But the ability to fix it is also our fault and our responsibility. You know, if we unite just a little bit, we can make some big changes in the world. We don't have to ask permission. All right, thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to great things happening from this program. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's Terrence Daniels from Wheel Progressives, and like I said, I'll try to get on here and live stream some more positive stuff for you guys. You know, we can change the world from a polluting society to a conservationist society, to a society that helps the world around it, brings balance to the world around it, and doesn't just destroy everything that we touch. All right, brothers and sisters, bye.